Happy time zones, everybody, and welcome to another stream. Today we are going to be playing Cinderella Phenomenon, which is a free game that you can download on Steam for those that are interested. We are going to be attempting not to die because I always end up perishing somehow anytime that I play a dating simulator. And this is kind of a dating sim, kind of like a visual novel. So it's a bit of both. I know a little bit about the plot, but very little. We're going to double check some of the settings quickly before I do anything else. Auto forward time. No, that should be fine. Stop, skip, after choices, stop, scene. That should be fine. This should be fine. I feel like we'll be fine. Cool. So, without further ado, let us begin Cinderella Phenomenon then. We recommend viewing the tutorial if this is your first time playing a Ren'Py visual novel. Would you like to view the tutorial? Yes, thank you. Always, always, always view the tutorial. If it's me, I must see tutorials. Ball says, Ambi, hi Ball, how's it going? How are you doing, friendo? Not feeling too great, I see. But yes, we will be viewing the tutorial. If it lets me. Oh my goodness, what's going on here? What? It did a thing. No, I don't want to. To advance through text, click the spacebar or enter. Should you miss a line or two while reading, you can always click the back button. Okay, that's good. I like the back button. Vol says, I'm physically tired. Mentally, though, wide awake. Well, happy to see you. Didn't you play this game before? No, I haven't played this game before. Scarlett and LT have played the game before, but I have not. I saw only a few different little bits and pieces of their stream and was teasing them about making incorrect decisions, knowing that I'm probably going to make even worse decisions. But that is okay. I'm sorry that you're not very physically awake yet, but I'm glad that you're popping in and saying hello. Pidge says heading to bed but dropping to say hi. Have a great stream. Thank you, Pidge. Thank you. I really appreciate that. You have a good evening and good sleep. Should you be waking up multiple times, you know that we'll be here for a while, so that's all good. Of the upper right hand corner of the text box, there are a limited amount of lines you can roll back when you use this function. The shortcut for this function is page up. For the lines you've already seen, you can click skip to toggle the activation of skip. Got it. Keyboard shortcut for this function is tab. For best experience, you may activate auto forward. It could also deactivate when you advance the text manually. Text speed and time for delay may be adjusted through settings. Okay. In-game menus, which consist of settings and save files, can be accessed by clicking on the glass slipper. That is handy. And also right-click. In the settings menu, you can customize your reading experience. You can also enable or disable full screen mode and the right choice indicator. This is also where you customize the skip mode function. Settings menu allows you to adjust the text speed and time auto forward mode. Takes before displaying the next line. Last but not least, you can adjust the volume. You have up to 72 save files. They can be loaded even when you're playing the story, so you don't need to recall the events or reconsider your choices. Okay, this concludes the tutorial. Please enjoy the experience. I will. Once upon a time, in a kingdom far, far away, there were two crystals. One was the Crystallarium Lucis, protected by the rulers of the fairies. The other was the Crystallarium Tenebrarium, which was watched over by the High Leader of the Witches. Lucius was sustained by love, happiness, and joy. The Tenebrarium by fear, anger, and hatred. The fairies and the witches lived in harmony with the humans of the kingdom. They regulated the powers of the crystal in order to maintain the balance between the lightness and the dark. For there can be no joy without sadness, no courage without fear. The kingdom was at peace for a time. Then one day, a traveling bard decided to write stories, tales of the magic and wonders of the kingdom. He named these stories fairy tales. In fairy tales, the light always emerged victorious, and true love was the usual reward. The fairy tales spread further than could ever have been predicted. The humans of the kingdom began to believe that fairy tales were true, and that the magic of the witches was inherently cruel and wicked. The witches became hated and feared, and eventually they were hunted like animals. The witch hunt. The leader of the witches, in all of her anger, created the fairy tale curse. I will just turn down the volume a little bit for me, so that way you guys can still hear it. Also, let me know if you're hearing the volume okay, because sometimes you can get some issues with Steam not properly showing volumes for things, so keep me posted as far as that goes. Also, Clara says, hello! Hello, Clara! Welcome in, welcome in. We're just playing some Cinderella Phenomenon and getting some of the lore. You think we are all wicked? So be it. Just as you have taken our happily ever afters, we shall take yours. The witches that use the fairy tale curse to attack humans indiscriminately, ultimately throwing the kingdom into chaos and into darkness. The ruler of the fairies, the Lucius Bearer, sought to regain peace, but the witches were blinded by their hatred for humans, who were responsible for the witch genocide. A terrible war, the Great War, began. Eventually, the Tenberium Bearer, the leader of the witches, was finally defeated. The Tenberium was lost, peace was restored, and the light once again triumphed. But darkness can never fully disappear. It waits in the shadows, patient for when its time will inevitably return. Contract. Sign here, Lucia. Alright, one. Sign my name. I've signed my name on the contract. Oh. Okay, go return. Enter. Here we go. Prologue. Ice Princess. My name is Luciette Riella Britton. I am the daughter of King Gennaro Britton III. I am the crown princess of the kingdom of Angel. At least, that is who I used to be. That was before yesterday, when I became a victim of the infamous fairy tale curse. Everyone has forgotten my birthright. Now I am nothing more than a lowly peasant. I feel like I'm stuck in a nightmare. But no, this is my reality now. I still have no idea what I must do to break this curse. I close my eyes and remember that day. It had started out just like any other. Have you heard? Another person was cursed. I'm on my way to the dining hall for breakfast when I stop and listen to the sound of hushed voices. There are two maids standing next to each other with brooms in hand. Oh, those two are slacking off again. It's terrible. What fairy tale curse was it? They say it was Pinocchio. Pinocchio, the fairy tale with the lying boy whose nose grows longer? Why, that's awful. You know, more and more people have been getting cursed lately. You think those wicked witches are up to something again? I thought the fairy tale curses would stop after you know who was defeated. You two were hired to work, not to talk. We're sorry, Your Highness. As can only be expected from the likes of them. Another fairy tale curse. The fairy tale curse had started spreading even before the Great War began. I do not have much interest in the effects, even now. After all, most humans probably deserve to get cursed. The victims are weak. Angel would be better off without the dead weight. If it were up to Mother, the curse would have been banished from Angel the instant they felt prey to it. But Mother is not here anymore. And she will not come back. Ever. The princess? The king and queen are waiting in the dining hall. I'm on my way. The king, Ophelia, and Rod are all present in the dining hall. Someone is conspicuously missing, but I ignored their absence. Good morning, Luciette. Good morning, Your Majesty. Good morning, Luciette. Luciette. Ophelia. Ophelia Widensov. Every day I wonder why my father, the king, married a lowly baker. She could never be true queen, so she pales in comparison to Mother. I take my seat next to the king and look up at the person sitting opposite me. Rod Benedict Winsov, my stepbrother, is bored and quiet as usual. He is 2 years my junior and is the younger of Ophelia's children. He is mute and uses a plush bunny to voice his thoughts. It was apparently given to him by a fairy. He minds his own business and he's easy to deal with, but his older sister, ugh. My eyes go to the empty seat beside him. She's probably the most infuriating person I've ever had the displeasure of knowing. Wow, Luciette, that's very strong words. Incredibly, incredibly strong words, even. But my goodness. Okay, there we go. Ooh. Ah, how am I going to say this one? I'm so sorry I was late. I was reading. And there she is. Pause that. Good morning, dear father, mother. Good morning, Rod. And good morning to you too, Luciette. It's a beautiful morning, isn't it? Emangela Widensov is Emmeline Jane Widensov, Rod's elder sister and my stepsister. She acts as if we're blood, as if she too were born a princess, as if she could be crowned princess and perhaps steal my place. I'll never let that happen. Now that everyone is here, let us begin. Butlers glide inside with silver trays and carefully to serve us breakfast. So, Emmeline Jane, you were reading a fairy tale books the king had brought you? Oh yes, there were so many and they were all so wonderful. Thank you so much, Father. I am happy that you like them. I love them. It's so strange that the library doesn't have any to begin with. That is because Mother hated them. She had all the books burned. But why? They're such charming stories. Fairy tales mislead humans into believing that they can have things they do not deserve. Fame, riches, love, happily ever afters. And when their wishes do not come to fruition exactly as they want them to, humans blame the witches for granting them in the first place. What are you implying about the witches, Luciette? The atmosphere shifts, the air in the room growing heavy. I continue to eat. Perhaps the witches are not responsible for the evils in this world. Perhaps humans are the cause of their own downfall. Have you any idea what you're talking about, child? The witches have caused us nothing but pain and suffering to the kingdom. Even now, they still spread the fairy tale curse to our innocent subjects. The truth is, and I know very little about the time the witches had free reign over Angel, I was very young then, and Mother forbade me to leave the palace, and even sometimes my own room. I knew nothing of the people's supposed pain and suffering. Mother kept me away from everyone. And so, I cannot even bring myself to care. How do you know the cursed are innocent? Our people have been toiling day and night to rebuild Angela after the Great War. Our people are the kingdom's foundation, and I'm endlessly grateful for their determination and resolve. Every day I wonder what your mother taught you about. Leave Mother out of this! Dear, please. Luciette, darling, your father didn't mean to. I'm not one of your children, Ophelia. I don't even need your sympathy. Luciette, you will show your mother respect. She is not my mother. I set down my fork and knife and stand up. I'm done. Excuse me. My father and I have never got on, but our relationship has significantly worsened since you married that baker. Father, king. It's been 17 years and I've never felt any love from him. He treats Emmeline Jane and Rod, who only entered our life a year ago, like his own children, better than he's ever treated me. This has been my life ever since Mother passed away 4 years ago. Mother was the only one that was there for me when no one else was.